Hello guys, welcome to my humble YouTube channel where I bring you fanfiction that will brighten your days. Before we start, a subscribe is greatly appreciated, and don't forget to leave a like and ring the bell icon so you won't miss exciting new fanfiction stories. True God in Another World, Tensura x Tbate, by Tempest_King_20. Chapter 16, Birth Rimuru Pav. Come on, I know you can do more than this, my father urged, his voice infused with a mix of challenge and encouragement. I shifted my body slightly, instinctively evading his punch engulfed in flickering flames. Seizing the opportunity, he swiftly followed up with a quick punch from his other hand, his movements a testament to his skill and experience. We engaged in a spar in the backyard, relying solely on our mastery of fire magic and the strength of our hands. Well, don't blame me for what's about to happen. You asked for it, I retorted confidently, igniting my body with flames that burned brighter and fiercer, fueled by the synergy of wind mana. With my left hand, I intercepted his punch, feeling the searing heat of his fiery strike against my palm. Simultaneously, I launched a swift kick with my right leg, aiming for his midsection. However, he skillfully blocked my attack, his defense unyielding. Amusement danced in my father's eyes as our spar continued, the intensity of our exchanges escalating. I deftly evaded or deflected his punches, responding with counterattacks of my own. Mindful of the potential consequences, I regulated my mana output to a conservative 30%, ensuring I didn't unleash an excess of power that could inadvertently harm my father. In this moment, it was simply a father and son engaging in a spirited battle, reveling in the joy of testing each other's limits. Yearning for increased speed and agility, I channeled mana into my legs, propelling myself towards him with exhilarating swiftness. As my fist aimed for his abdomen, he instinctively raised his arm to defend himself. However, it was a feint, an illusion designed to divert his attention. The true strike was a powerful kick, the culmination of a well-timed spin and a leap that granted me the necessary momentum to strike the side of his face. He reacted swiftly, employing his other arm to shield his face from the blow. Yet, it appeared he hadn't anticipated the force behind my kick, for his arm recoiled and his balance wavered momentarily. But instead of continuing to attack, I swiftly disengaged, putting a safe distance of approximately 2 meters between us. Undeterred, my father pressed forward, his palm extended with precision. He aimed to deliver a chop, and I allowed him to execute the attack unhindered. At the last instant, I smoothly stepped back, seizing his wrist in my grasp. Harnessing the momentum of his strike, combined with the power coursing through my mana-infused hands, I executed a fluid throw, sending him hurtling aside. He tumbled, his attempt to regain balance thwarted, and I seized the moment. My palm connected with his chin, a resounding impact that reverberated through the air. Without pause, I followed up with a swift sidekick to his waist, further destabilizing him until he finally succumbed and fell to the ground. A smile played upon my father's lips, despite his defeat, his eyes radiating pride and contentment. I guess it's my loss, my father conceded with a gentle chuckle, his words laced with a mixture of amusement and paternal affection.
Hee, I told you that you wouldn't be able to beat me, I declared triumphantly.
My father closed the distance between us, his hand encircling my neck. Don't be so cocky, boy, he chided, his voice carrying a hint of laughter that echoed in the air. It had been exactly 7 days since our arrival in Xyrus, and during that time, I had made significant progress in unlocking the power of sound deflection. Lilia, on the other hand, had shown remarkable advancements in her mana manipulation skills. It seemed that she had swiftly entered a period of stability, where she could concentrate and harness her magical abilities even without my presence. It was a joy to witness her growth and potential, although it would still take several years for her to fully develop a mana core. Lilia and I had developed an incredibly close bond recently, so much so that we had created special nicknames for each other. Every free time, she would eagerly pull me along to engage in various activities, whether it was playing games or strolling through the palace grounds. And on occasion, we would venture out into the bustling town, exploring its vibrant streets together. Lilia's contagious enthusiasm was utterly irresistible, injecting a sense of joy and excitement into every moment we shared. My father had taken my revelation of my basic stage to heart. Since then, he had been dedicating more of his free time to rigorous physical training, determined to break through his own limitations and advance to the coveted light red stage. As a gesture of encouragement, I presented him with a few mana cores I had obtained from Gramps. In addition, I gifted my mother and Tabitha with elegant clothing befitting their grace and beauty. Lilia received a carefully selected assortment of clothes and toys, tailor-made to suit her tastes and preferences. And for Vincent, I bestowed upon him stylish watches and a collection of finely tailored suits.
Suddenly, the peaceful atmosphere was shattered as the back door swung open, revealing a visibly distressed Lilia. Tears welled up in her eyes, and her voice trembled with worry as she urgently spoke, "Uncle Reynolds, Auntie Alice."
I rushed to her side, gently placing my hand on her head and offering a reassuring pat. "Calm down, Lily. Take a deep breath and tell me what happened." My voice was filled with genuine concern, aimed at alleviating her anxiety. "Aunt Alice is sick. She's in a lot of pain," Lilia blurted out, her words laced with worry and urgency. Without wasting another moment, I exchanged a knowing glance with my father, silently acknowledging the gravity of the situation. He swiftly made his way inside the house. "Okay, Lily, try not to worry too much. We'll make sure my mom receives the help she needs," I soothed her gently, witnessing her gradually calming down and regaining control of her breathing. "Come, let's go and see what's happening." Lilia nodded, her small hand tightly gripping mine as we rushed inside, our hearts burdened with concern. As we reached the doorway leading to my parents' room, we found ourselves denied entry. It was a disheartening sight, leaving us with no choice but to retreat to the comforting embrace of the living room. Lilia and I settled on the plush sofa, casting worried glances at each other. The minutes ticked by slowly, each passing moment feeling like an eternity as we anxiously waited for any news. The fatigue of the day eventually overcame Lilia, her eyelids growing heavy as she drifted into a peaceful slumber. Her head found a resting place on my shoulder, her soft breaths creating a gentle rhythm. Third-person POV. After what felt like an eternity of waiting, the heavy doors of the room creaked open, revealing a beaming Reynolds. His face, though radiant with joy, bore a hint of exhaustion, casting a pale shadow upon his features. "Come, He beckoned to his son, his voice filled with excitement. "Come meet your little sister." After he carefully placed Lily on the couch, Rimuru rose from his seat, his every step laden with a mixture of anticipation and nervousness. This was an entirely new experience for him, and despite his many years of existence, there were still uncharted territories to navigate. The journey he had embarked upon had exposed him to countless wonders, but now, in this moment, he felt a profound sense of trepidation that surpassed even the reunion with his parents after 8 long months of separation. Sensing his son's apprehension, Reynolds placed a reassuring hand on Rimuru's shoulder, offering a comforting smile and a subtle nod of encouragement. As they entered the room, Rimuru's eyes fell upon the remaining maids, who were busily tending to the needs of the doctor. The physician, mindful of the family's privacy, had discreetly departed, leaving the space for this intimate familial encounter. Tabitha and Alice greeted Rimuru with warm smiles, their eyes brimming with affection as they observed Rimuru approach. Rimuru gazes shifted to Alice, his mother, who cradled a bundle of blankets in her arms. Come closer." Alice beckoned to her son, her voice carrying a gentle weariness. Rimuru nodded, his steps guided by a mix of eagerness and uncertainty. Drawing nearer, he caught a glimpse of his little sister, nestled within the blankets. Unlike Arthur, who had inherited Alice's chestnut locks and Reynolds' piercing blue eyes, Eleanor Lewin presented a striking contrast. Her hair, a delicate shade of gray-brown, framed a pair of enchanting brown eyes. From this moment forward, this is your little sister, Eleanor Lewin," Alice introduced, her voice filled with tenderness as she gently transferred the newborn into Rimuru's awaiting arms. In that instant, the world seemed to pause for Rimuru. His focus narrowed, and all that existed in his universe was the tiny being cradled within his embrace. In that profound connection, his anxiety, the presence of the maids, and even the presence of his parents faded into insignificance. Overwhelmed with joy and a deep sense of honor, he felt a surge of emotions coursing through his being. Rimuru gazed intently at his sister, his eyes filled with awe and adoration. A smile, genuine and unbridled, graced his lips, a sight that astonished all those present. The onlookers, including his parents, were captivated by the tenderness and warmth radiating from Rimuru as he held his sister with utmost care. It was a smile they had never witnessed before, one that carried the weight of unconditional love. Cradling Eleanor's fragile form, Rimuru spoke to her in a voice brimming with affection.
"Hello, Eleanor. I'm your big brother, Rimuru. he whispered softly, his words laced with tenderness and sincerity. As his fingers traced gentle patterns along her delicate skin, a magical moment unfolded. In response to his touch and words, a tiny hand reached out, grasping Rimuru's finger, and a melodic laughter bubbled forth from Eleanor's lips. The sight elicited gentle smiles from all those present, their hearts melting at the enchanting connection between the siblings.
Rimuru couldn't help but marvel at the sight before him, his smile growing wider as he addressed his sister. Look at you. Aren't you the cutest thing in the world? He exclaimed, his voice filled with adoration. In that instant, a fierce determination welled up within him, an unyielding resolve to protect and cherish his baby sister. He vowed silently to shower her with boundless love and care, to be her unwavering guardian. Eagerly, he anticipated witnessing her growth, eagerly awaiting the incredible milestones she would achieve. But above all, he longed to be a steadfast presence in her life, to shield her from harm, to guide her through life's twists and turns, and to be the loving, protective big brother she deserved. In Rimuru's imaginary space, a serene and ethereal realm filled with soft hues and gentle breezes, two women stood side by side, their eyes fixed on Rimuru with a mix of awe and affection. The first woman, Sylvia, a graceful and ethereal being with flowing white hair and piercing amethyst eyes, gazed at Rimuru with a soft smile. Her heart swelled with warmth as she watched him cradle his sister in his arms, his gentle touch and tender expression embodying a love that transcended words. So, she whispered softly to herself, her voice carrying a hint of wonder, even he can smile like that. Turning her attention to the woman beside her, Sylvia couldn't help but be curious. A stoic and enigmatic figure with long, silver hair cascading down her back, possessed an air of wisdom and unyielding loyalty. Her red eyes, tinged with a hint of melancholy, were fixed upon Rimuru, her beloved master. Sylvia knew well the deep bond that existed between Seal and Rimuru, forged through countless trials and shared experiences. Sylvia's voice was filled with warmth and understanding as she gently inquired, "Aren't you happy about that, Seal?" Her eyes searched Ciel's face, hoping to catch a glimpse of the emotions hidden within. Ciel's expression softened, a mixture of sadness and serenity playing across her features. A single tear escaped her eye, trailing down her cheek like a shimmering crystal. "I don't even need to ask," Sylvia remarked, a knowing smile gracing her lips. She understood the depth of Ciel's emotions without the need for words. Ciel remained silent, her gaze unwavering as she continued to observe her beloved master. In that moment, a rush of memories flooded her mind, a poignant reminder of the incredible journey they had undertaken together. She recalled the pain she had felt when Rimuru, once vibrant and full of childlike wonder, began to lose his emotions, his spirit gradually replaced by a cold and indifferent facade. The sense of ennui and sadness that had enveloped him weighed heavily on her heart. Yet Ciel understood that Rimuru's transformation was not simply a result of boredom or weariness. She knew that his human mind, once bound by the limitations of an ordinary world devoid of magic or the supernatural, could no longer bear the weight of his newfound godlike powers and everlasting existence. The burden of living far beyond the lifespan of an average human, coupled with the disconnection from his friends who now saw him as a deity rather than an equal, had left him adrift in a sea of sorrow. Determined to find a solution, Ciel delved deep into the recesses of her thoughts, tirelessly seeking a path to restore Rimuru's lost emotions. And at last, after countless hours of contemplation and introspection, she found it, a glimmer of an answer shimmering amidst the fragments of her consciousness. The key to rekindling Rimuru's emotions lay in his reincarnation as a human being. By embracing a new life, his dormant feelings would gradually reawaken. For in the hearts of children, emotions flowed freely, unencumbered by the weight of maturity. Even with a mature mind, Rimuru's reborn heart would beat with the innocence and purity of a child, setting him on a path to rediscovering the depth of his emotions. A sense of profound joy washed over Ciel as she contemplated the decision she had made. Gratitude swelled within her for the Lewin family, a remarkable family that had inadvertently bestowed upon her master the most precious gift he had ever yearned for, a loving family. Though Rimuru cherished his dear friends, like Veldora, as his chosen family, it paled in comparison to the unbreakable bond of blood ties. The changes she had witnessed in Rimuru, despite his brief time in this fantastical world, filled Ciel with wonder. Emotionally, psychologically, and even mentally, he had undergone tremendous growth, And as she stood there, envisioning the future that lay ahead, she couldn't help but wonder what further transformations awaited him. Seal vowed to be a steadfast guardian, observing his growth and nurturing him as he evolved into a person surpassing his former self. Her purpose, after all, lay in supporting Rimuru unwaveringly, irrespective of the challenges that lay ahead. Rimuru Pav. Rimuru, sorry to say it at this moment, but your mother and sister need to rest, Tabitha said gently, her words laced with understanding. As she drew closer, her kind smile offered reassurance and support. I nodded, my gaze fixated tenderly upon Ellie, my newborn sister, cradled in my arms. Every fiber of my being overflowed with love and protectiveness as I leaned in to place a delicate kiss on her rosy cheek. A mixture of awe and affection filled my voice as I whispered softly into her tiny ear, the words a promise and a declaration. I'll see you later, princess. My voice carried the weight of my devotion to her, a pledge to always be there. Reluctantly, I relinquished Ellie to Tabitha's waiting embrace. She cradled the precious bundle, her hands moving with practiced gentleness, and began to make her way towards the cozy bunk where Ellie would find respite. My father placed his hand reassuringly on my back as we started to walk out of the room. Hee, did you see how adorable your sister is, Rimuru? My father's voice broke the quietude, filled with a deep pride that resonated in his words. His eyes, shimmering with joy, met mine in unspoken understanding. Sorry to burst your bubble, old man, but my sister's cuteness is all thanks to my mother's genes, not yours, I playfully retorted, a mischievous smirk tugging at the corners of my lips. As I observed my father's proud expression crumble, a mock sense of indignation replaced it, bringing forth laughter and warmth between us. Less than I'm sure she's going to be a beautiful woman in the future. Greater than, Sylvia's voice echoed. Greater than looks like I have to learn new torture methods from Ultima. Less than Sylvia was taken aback by my words, falling silent for a moment, while Seal sighed in a mixture of exasperation and amusement. Less than just don't kill any boy who gets close to her, master. Greater than Seal interjected, her voice filled with a mix of exasperation and amusement. Greater than well, it depends on his intentions. Less than I replied, my voice dripping with a mixture of wickedness and amusement. Greater than if he has bad intentions, I will make him wish he was never born again. Less than I added, my words punctuated by an evil smile. It had been 2 eventful days since Ellie's birth, and the atmosphere in our home was filled with a renewed sense of joy and relief. My mother's condition had improved significantly, allowing her to resume her usual daily activities. Our lives hadn't undergone dramatic changes, but there was an added responsibility. After our training sessions, Lily and I would take care of Ellie whenever our mom needed assistance. I couldn't help but be amazed by how adorable my sister was, and I wasn't biased just because I was a doting older brother, of course. Before the twin horns' visit, my father had sent them a message informing them about Ellie's birth. However, he deliberately kept my presence a secret, wanting to surprise them. Today was the day they were due to visit, taking advantage of a break in their adventuring. In the living room, I found myself engrossed in a book, while Lily happily played with her new toys, her laughter echoing through the air. Suddenly, an obnoxious knock reverberated through the front door, causing Lily to squeal in excitement and rush to open it. Sensing their arrival, I swiftly closed my book and made my way to greet them. As I stood before the door, waiting for it to open, a mix of anticipation and nostalgia washed over me. Finally, the door swung open, revealing the twin horns, standing on the threshold. For a moment, time seemed to stand still as their eyes met mine. The disbelief etched on their faces slowly transformed into tearful joy. It was as if a dormant volcano, brimming with suppressed emotions, was on the verge of erupting at any moment. Hey, guys. It's been a while, I greeted them warmly, my voice filled with genuine affection in an attempt to alleviate the weight of emotions that filled the room. Angela's emotions burst forth like a dam breaking, and she impulsively lunged forward, enveloping me in a bear hug that left my body paralyzed and my head nestled between her breasts. Her grip was tight, almost desperate, as if she couldn't bear to let go. I could feel her trembling, her tears cascading onto my hair, and the sound of her choked sobs resonated in the hall. I am so glad you're fine. Hick, I thought why you were dead, Angela sobbed, her voice breaking with emotion. Durden, his voice booming yet filled with concern, interjected from behind, Angela, I don't think he can breathe. Startled, Angela loosened her grip, her teary eyes meeting mine, She wore a mixture of relief and guilt, as if blaming herself for the fear and pain she had experienced. We all thought. Well, I was come close to death now, more recently than when I fell, I managed to reply, a hint of humor lacing my words. Angela let out a chuckle through her tears, a mixture of relief and joy in her laughter, and she stepped aside, allowing Durden to approach me. Durden, his usually imposing presence softened, approached me with a gentle smile. He gently ruffled my hair, his touch filled with disbelief and uncertainty, as if questioning whether I was truly real. His eyes, usually filled with determination and resolve, shimmered with unspoken emotions. Meanwhile, Adam, with his trademark smirk, glanced at me, his tone laced with indifference. Well, look who managed to survive. I suppose even a lost cause like you can cling onto life somehow. He shrugged dismissively, attempting to downplay any concern or emotion he might have felt. Helen interjected with a playful smile on her face. He was actually the one who cried the most, you know, she said, teasingly revealing Adam's vulnerability. Adam stuttered in response, his embarrassment evident, as everyone nodded in agreement, confirming Helen's statement. She playfully pinched my cheeks and offered me a sympathetic smile before stepping back. The air crackled with tension as I observed Jasmine, the last member of the twin pods, her tear-streaked face contorted with anguish. The delicate slope of her shoulders trembled ever so slightly, reflecting the emotional turmoil within her. In that moment, time seemed to slow as her eyes met mine, her desperation and longing palpable. Without warning, Jasmine sprinted towards me with unbridled intensity, her movements fueled by a mixture of desperation and a yearning for solace. Her body collapsed to her knees as she reached me, her arms clinging tightly to my frame, seeking refuge and safety. The raw display of emotion caught me off guard, but it tugged at the deepest strings of my heart. I could feel the weight of her anguish, and it reverberated through every fiber of my being. Instinctively, I extended one hand to caress her back gently, the warmth of my touch conveying empathy and reassurance. The other hand cradled the back of her head, offering a tender support as she unleashed her tears, their sound muffled against the fabric of my shirt. Her tear-stained face slowly lifted, her trembling hands gripping my shoulders as her eyes locked with mine. They were captivating, resembling two precious ruby stones floating amidst a sea of white, marred by streaks of red left by her cascading tears. I'm sorry, she stammered, her voice choked with remorse. Nervously, she bit the corner of her lower lip, her gaze drifting downward. In that moment, I gently placed a finger before her quivering lip, silently urging her to calm down. Don't worry, I reassured her, my voice gentle yet firm. My eyes remained fixed upon her and the rest of the Twin Horn's companions, a warm and understanding smile gracing my lips. This burden does not rest upon your shoulders, or anyone else's. It was my decision, and Art's decision, to undertake the mission to save our mother. If we were given the chance to turn back time, we would make the same choice without hesitation. Jasmine nodded, slowly rising to her feet and taking a step back, the weight of guilt gradually lifting from her slender frame. The room remained quiet, the echoes of her sobs fading into the background. Speaking of him, Adam chimed in, breaking the silence. Where's the other brat? He asked, concern etched across his face. He's not here at the moment, I responded calmly. He is currently facing challenges with his nucleus, but I assure you that they will be resolved soon. Intrigued, the rest of the group bombarded me with a flurry of questions, their inquisitiveness reflecting a mix of concern and genuine interest. Realizing the need to provide them with clarity, I gestured for everyone to gather in the inviting living room, assuring them that I would reveal all the pertinent details there. Just then, my parents walked in, and we all proceeded to the living room, settling into the comfort of the plush furniture. As we took our seats, I recounted everything that had transpired since our perilous fall from the cliff. The tale left them stunned, their expressions a mix of awe and disbelief. Adam, in particular, couldn't contain his envy, practically pulling at his hair in frustration. Holy crap! I haven't even unlocked my elemental ability, and you're saying you mastered gravity aberration by the age of 4. I always knew you and your brother were monsters, but this surpasses all expectations. With a proud smile, my father interjected, adding to their astonishment, that's not even the best part. My son. He's the first ever Quadra Elemental. His words reverberated through the room, the weight of their significance sinking in. The onlookers' eyes widened, and their jaws dropped in sheer amazement at the revelation. Adam, unable to contain his excitement, pointed at me with enthusiasm. "Let's have a quick spar now." I responded swiftly, anticipating his question. "No," I stated firmly, hoping to dissuade him from pursuing the idea. Perplexed, Adam prodded further. "Huh, are you still afraid?" His curiosity tinged with a hint of mockery. I met his gaze, a mischievous smirk playing on my lips. "Yes, of course," I replied, my voice dripping with sarcasm. "I'm absolutely terrified of shattering your dignity and pride by defeating you at the hands of a mere 4-year-old. Laughter erupted from the gathering, filling the room with mirth. Adam's face flushed crimson, momentarily rendered speechless by the retort. "If you're so confident, then fight me," he finally managed to muster. With a resigned sigh, I conceded, knowing that escape was futile. "Fine," I acquiesced, my tone tinged with a hint of resignation. "I'll fight you." It seemed that destiny had decided I couldn't evade this duel, and I would have to face Adam's challenge head-on. Everyone was standing or sitting on the stairs looking down at us. Everyone joined us. Vincent and Tabitha were here now too. My mother sat on one of the steps, cradling my younger sister Ellie in her lap, her expression a blend of concern and pride. Facing Adam, I tightly gripped the hilt of my wooden sword, feeling the cool, smooth surface against my palm. Adam, on the other hand, brandished his spear with confidence, his every movement exuding determination. His face bore a determined expression, etched with a mix of competitiveness and a hint of mischief. With a sly smile, he attempted to provoke me, his voice laced with taunting intent. "You better brace yourself for tears, my friend, because I won't show you any mercy," Adam jeered, his words a deliberate attempt to unsettle me. A wry smile danced across my lips as I met his taunt head-on, my own resolve unshaken. "We shall see," I replied calmly, my voice carrying an undercurrent of quiet confidence. As the tension mounted, my father, assuming the role of the impartial arbiter, stepped forward. His presence commanded respect, his face etched with a mixture of solemnity and excitement. With a nod, he signaled the beginning of the backyard, his voice resonating through the staircase. "Okay, let the spar commence." As soon as my father gave the signal, the atmosphere crackled with energy. Without hesitation, I kicked off the ground, propelling myself forward in a burst of speed. Closing the distance between Adam and me, I swung my wooden sword in a fluid motion, aiming to strike him. However, Adam countered my attack with seemingly effortless grace, deflecting my blow with practiced precision. It became apparent that my reliance on raw physical strength alone, without reinforcing my body with mana, left me at a disadvantage. Adam retaliated swiftly, his spear sweeping towards my head. Reacting swiftly, I instinctively ducked, narrowly evading the potentially devastating blow. In that moment, a flicker of self-awareness crossed my mind, acknowledging the inherent vulnerability of battling with a wooden sword, even one reinforced with mana. Its inherent limitations were clear. Seizing the momentum of his missed strike, Adam spun around fluidly, bringing his spear towards my chest. Drawing upon my quick reflexes, I deflected his blow to the side, the clash of wood against wood resonating in the air. Taking advantage of the opening I created, I swiftly slid my weapon across the surface of his improvised spear, the scraping sound serving as a testament to our clash of skills. With determination, I attempted to land a blow on Adam, but he moved back nimbly, evading my strike. Undeterred, I shifted my weight, anticipating his next move. In a split second, Adam appeared behind me, launching an attack with blinding speed. However, I had already anticipated this maneuver and swiftly dodged his blow, evading his attempt to catch me off guard. Before Adam could fully comprehend the turn of events, I capitalized on the opening and struck his hand holding the spear, a precise hit that sent a jolt of surprise through him. He swung his spear counterclockwise, aiming to deliver a forceful blow upon me. Reacting with instinctive precision, I parried his attack effortlessly, our weapons meeting in a clash of skill and determination. Our duel escalated into a whirlwind of exchanged blows, each strike deflected or blocked with calculated precision. To the casual observer, it may have appeared as if we were evenly matched, but I had gained the upper hand. Utilizing my honed senses, I read Adam's muscle twitches and the subtle shifts in his eyes, enabling me to predict his every move. Combined with my years of fighting experience, it became second nature for me to anticipate his attacks without relying on the future attack prediction. ability I had gained from my battle with Hinata. Sensing an opportune moment, I decided to bring our spar to a close. Adam aimed a frontal blow at my chest, targeting a weakness he believed he could exploit. However, I effortlessly evaded his strike, utilizing my physical strength to its fullest. In a swift movement, I appeared on his left side, my wooden sword pointing directly at him. With a triumphant smile, I declared my victory. "I told you, it's my win," I proclaimed, my voice filled with a mix of satisfaction and confidence. The twin horns stood in awe at my victory over Adam. While Lily looked on with wide-eyed excitement, her eyes shining with unbridled admiration for what had transpired. Adam, though conceding defeat, couldn't help but offer a small smile, his respect shining through. "TCH, well, it's my loss, little monster," he admitted, his tone a blend of playful banter and genuine acknowledgement. Helen, who had been observing the duel with keen interest, approached along with my family and friends. Her eyes held a mixture of astonishment and curiosity as she addressed me. "You are even better than your brother. Where did you learn such skill?" Her voice carried a genuine sense of admiration and intrigue. "I had a good teacher, that's all." I shrugged as I walked over to my mom, who held out my younger sister, Ellie, in her arms. I gently took Ellie from her, cradling her with care and affection. As I turned back, Lily approached me with a beaming smile on her face. "You're so strong, Ree, I wish I could be like you," she exclaimed, her voice filled with genuine admiration. I patted her on the head affectionately and leaned closer to whisper in her ear, "If you train hard, you can achieve anything. And when you awaken as a mage, I will be there to teach you myself." "Okay." Lily nodded vigorously, her imagination already running wild with visions of herself fighting like me. Among the crowd, Vincent, still stunned by the display of power that had unfolded before him, found his voice. "Wouldn't someone point out that he defeated Adam without even using elemental magic?" he asked, his incredulity evident. The attention of everyone present shifted to me, their gazes filled with questioning looks. However, I remained unfazed, my focus fixed on Ellie, who gurgled happily in my arms. "Beating a B-rank adventurer without even resorting to elemental magic? You're just as impressive as Adam claimed," Helen remarked, her tone filled with a mix of awe and genuine curiosity. I simply shrugged my shoulders. I am not sure about this information. Adam may be a rank, correct me if I am wrong." "This is my son of whom you speak after all," my father declared proudly, puffing out his chest, his voice resonating with a mixture of paternal pride and boastfulness. My mother, her eyes sparkling mischievously, glanced at my father, her playful smile revealing a fondness for his enthusiasm. "What are you talking about?" she retorted with a teasing tone. "He is strong because of my genes." Her words elicited a chorus of laughter, filling the backyard with a joyful ambiance. "I think you're stronger than I ever imagined," Tabitha interjected, her curiosity evident. "I'm really curious about your core stage." Tabitha, Vincent, and the others only knew that I was an earth mage and a deviant in gravity. "Light orange stage," I replied softly, as I scratched my cheek with a shy smile, causing a momentary hush to descend upon us. The backyard seemed to hold its breath as everyone's eyes widened in disbelief, their faces frozen in astonishment. "What?" Everyone, except my parents, exclaimed simultaneously, their voices resonating through the backyard like a chorus of thunder. The sudden outburst startled little Ellie, whose cries filled the air. "Shush, be quiet, guys. You're scaring Ellie," I gently admonished, my voice carrying a soothing tone as I sought to calm my baby sister. I reached out and gently rocked her in my arms, the rhythm of my movements gradually lulling her cries into soft whimpers. "How do you expect us to be quiet?" Vincent exclaimed, his voice laced with a mixture of surprise and excitement. "If Director Goodsky hears about this, she'll definitely try to recruit you into the academy." Well, it's not surprising that Rimuru caught the director's attention. "We're talking about a monster here," Adam chimed in, injecting a touch of humor into the tense atmosphere, only to receive a playful punch from Durden, which earned a round of chuckles from the group. Vincent turned his attention to my parents. His eyes gleamed with excitement. "Should I contact her?" he asked, his voice brimming with anticipation. My mother hesitated, but Ree is still too young for this, she said, her eyes flickering with a mix of worry and pride, her hand gently caressing my cheek. Vincent nodded, realization dawning on him. "Of course, you're right," he conceded, his voice tinged with understanding. It's just hard to believe that there is a child with such strength. It makes me wonder what he will become in the future. The rest of the group nodded in agreement, their expressions a mix of awe and anticipation. I have no problem with attending the academy when I grow up, I spoke up, my thoughts drifting to Gramps' stories about the prestigious Xyrus Academy. It was an institution renowned for producing exceptionally talented individuals. The prospect of recruiting some hidden talent to my side excited me. When my parents finally agreed, Vincent practically jumped in place with unabashed excitement. "I'll contact her right away," he exclaimed eagerly, his enthusiasm palpable. "He is more excited than the kid himself about this." Tabitha chuckled softly, her eyes filled with warmth and affection as she looked at me. "I don't blame him," Angela chimed in, wrapping her arms around me in a warm embrace. "You're destined for greatness, my dear." A sense of reassurance washed over me, knowing that she will not drag me into those death traps or doubt I'd survive next time. "How about we head back to the living room instead of lingering here?" my mom suggested, extending her hand to take Ellie, whom I reluctantly handed over. With a collective nod, we made our way back to the living room, the plush carpet cushioning our footsteps. And they were engrossed in animated discussions about the possibilities of me attending Xyrus Academy in the future. The room was filled with a palpable sense of excitement and anticipation. Eventually, my father turned to his former party members, eager to hear about their recent adventures. "Hey, Rimuru, who's your teacher?" Out of nowhere, Adam asked, breaking the conversation flow. His eyes sparkled with curiosity, and everyone turned their attention to me once again. Caught off guard by the unexpected inquiry, I briefly paused, my mind racing to formulate an appropriate response. Taking a deep breath, I cautiously replied, "You won't believe it." Adam's mischievous smile grew wider as he leaned forward, his curiosity piqued. "Try me," he challenged, his eyes glinting with intrigue. Gathering my thoughts, I proceeded to reveal the truth, knowing it would come as a surprise. "Well, my teacher is the former king of Eleanor, Virian Aerolith." Before Adam could react to my revelation, a mysterious voice resonated through the room, interrupting our conversation. We turned our heads towards the source of the disturbance, only to find an elderly woman standing at the doorway, donned in a peculiar witch-like attire. Her presence was both unexpected and enigmatic. Fixing her piercing gaze on me, she addressed me directly, her voice carrying an air of authority. "So, you are the intended child." Her words hung in the air, leaving us all bewildered and eager for an explanation. As our confused faces turned towards Vincent, who stood beside the old woman, he cleared his throat nervously, assuming the role of an introducer. Reynolds, Alice, Rimuru, allow me to introduce Director Cynthia Goodsky." Less than Rimuru. Greater than yes, I know, there is no doubt, this woman. Less than Alacrian.